welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Damaris, also known as Damaris Dash, a bit weird.
And who are you?
I'm Russell.
Also known as the Hubs.
I was going to say Russell.
Bubba. He just wanted to say hi right quick.
Hello, everyone from Edinburgh. Did I say that correctly, sweetheart?
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right. So today is.
I'm going now. You'll hear some creaking. So
Okay.
Don't let it scare you.
Okay. Today is Thursday, August the 29th, 2013. Yes, we normally record on Wednesday, but it just didn't happen yesterday. So, and this is episode 53. And do you know what else today is?
Yes.
What is today?
Our Podiversary.
Our Podiversary! 1 year. 1 year ago today, the 29th of August, we recorded our first episode. Can you believe it's been a year? We have not missed a week. We have recorded every single week. Now we've moved days a few times. I think we recorded twice on a Tuesday, and then of course today's a Thursday, but and yes, we are in Edinburgh, Scotland now. So we'll talk more about that in Yummies. But we want to say a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers, and a big hello to all of our new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. Hope you enjoy the podcast. We have one new member who has introduced herself in the Ravelry group. Do you want to say who it is?
Sure. Jordan
Dunaway.
Jordan Dunaway, who's Jordan from Cleburne, Texas.
Yes. We're very far from there now. We were much closer when we were in Abilene. So, welcome to the group, Jordan. We're glad to have you. If you are not a member of our Ravelry group, come join. Or if you are already a member, that's great. But if you have not introduced yourself yet in the introductions thread, please do that, and we will give you a shout out on the next episode. My words are getting jumbled. So I think that we are ready to get started because we have a lot to talk about today. So, you ready? Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what's on our needles.
So what's on your needles, Mare?
I still have
Okay.
this on my needles.
And what is this? Oh, so sorry.
This is the body to my Watson sweater based off the Dr. Watson's cabled crewneck pattern by Trudy Brown. I am on size 3.5 millimeters.
Yes, which is a US 4.
And the yarn is Barocco Vintage in the Oats colorway.
Yes.
I am still in the body, but I'm hoping to get a lot more work done on it because it's cold in Scotland. And
You want to wear it.
yes.
So, do you remember by chance where you were last time? We keep forgetting to put a marker in.
I do not remember.
You should grab a marker out of my bag and put
Well,
it in
if I
this week.
finish a few repeats, I'll know how much I've done.
So how many repeats have you done total?
8.
8.
Yes, I thought 8 was going to make the whole thing 15 inches, but it didn't.
Do you know how many inches it is?
12 and a half, I think.
Okay. You didn't knit on this on the plane because it was on metal needles and we were worried about whether they would take them away or not. So she packed it, so it was not travel knitting. And you didn't start your other project, did you?
No.
On the plane. Yeah, traveling took more out of us than we thought it would. So, alrighty. Well, I have only one thing on the needles right now, and I'm not going to completely show you what it is because it's a new design. Oh, and look who else is in my project bag. Say hello, Scotty. Scotty traveled with us from the U.S. to Scotland. She was in a lot of pictures. She'll just sit back there and watch us. So I am doing a new pattern design. Are you concerned because Scotty is watching you? I'm doing a new pattern design. And this is out of Knit Picks Felici yarn in the rainbow colorway. Oh, that's pretty true colors right there. The purple's not quite right, but the rest of them are pretty true. And I am designing a sock pattern. This is on US 1.5's 2.5 mil needles. I'm just going to show you the back side of the sock because I don't want to show you the pattern yet. So here's how the stripes are knitting up. Rainbow. And I'm not going to tell you more than that because I want it to be a surprise when I publish it. I am about halfway done with this sock. And I knit this all while we were traveling. But to be honest, I have not knit any since we arrived in Scotland. So I'm hoping to work some more on this tonight while the podcast is uploading and such. I am going to need test knitters for this. So if you are on my test knitters list already, I'll be sending y'all an email soon. But if you're not and are interested in test knitting these socks, send me a message and we'll see what we can do. Because I would like to publish this by probably late September. So, but I'm in love with it and it is so amazing. And every new pattern repeat, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love it. So that's the only active thing on my needles right now. I have lots of things I need to start, but that requires buying yarn, and I have not done that yet. So, and so I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about her finished project.
Yes, I finished one thing this week. I think I showed them last week, right, because I was working on them?
I don't know.
Because I finished them sometime while we were traveling, but before we were flying, while we were driving. Maybe I finished them on the way from New Mexico to Texas. I think so. I think that's right. So this is another pair of seamless Saloma slippers by Megan Williams and Susan Busby. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I did this on US 6s, which is 4 mil needles. And this is another pair for Damaris. So this is the 5th pair I have finished, and I have stopped for now. But man, they're addictive. They're so fast. So I took the leftover yarn from Damaris's individual set that I did of solid color and my solid color ones, and I'd already done me a striped pair, and now then I did Damaris a striped pair with the leftovers. This is Brene Denim Style in the skinny pink colorway and Aurora Borealis Twist in the Venetian. Oh, that's pretty true colors. They're a little bit brighter. So show it on your foot. Yep. I love these. These are so awesome. She's been wanting these and I wouldn't let her wear them. So now I told you that I striped them. So the only way to tell the difference, I actually have mine on, but I don't know if I can lift my foot up. Damaris's has the Venetian solid at the bottom. Let me just take one of mine off. Mine have a pink, the pink and white, the skinny pink colorway on the bottom. So that's how we are going to tell them apart. Because, you know, we like the same colors. So that's the only thing I finished. I was expecting to get so much done traveling, and it just did not happen. So, but those are finished, and so on to the next segment. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are Yummies, Damaris?
Yummies are our current favorite things, things that we like, things that we want to share with you.
Yeah. And to be honest, this is probably going to be a very long segment because we're going to talk about Scotland at the end of this segment and all of our traveling and stuff. But we have some other things to talk about first. Well, we kind of already talked about the first thing, that today is our first Podiversary. Oh. So, we've been doing this for a year, and I know, at least myself, I love it more now than I did even when we started. How do you feel about it? Do you enjoy podcasting?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to keep podcasting?
Sure.
Forever? We're going to be old and gray and still podcasting. We'll see. For the foreseeable future, we're going to continue podcasting. As long as we continue to love it and y'all continue to enjoy watching it, we will do it. So, happy first Podiversary to us! Okay, so we've received some things in the post, well, here in Edinburgh, we received some things, but we also received some things back home before we left. So we just want to talk a little about some of them. So this first thing we received, it was so wonderful. We came into our flat Monday morning, and we had mail waiting for us. So I received this gorgeous card.
We did.
Oh, yes, all of us. I forgot she wrote to all of us. This is from, I just dropped it. This is from Alex, who is Happy Lucky on Rav. She lives in London, here in the UK, and she wrote us such a sweet, sweet card welcoming us to the UK, and so it was very sweet. So thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciated that. Then, before we left the US, I'm trying to get them. Bless you. Let's see, I think this is your set. Bless you. Are you allergic to podcasting?
I don't know.
This is a gift from Misty, who is the nagging knitter on Ravelry, and she has a podcast as well. But she is a jewelry artist, and her shop on Etsy is Wired Heart Jewelry. So it's Wired Heart Jewelry on Etsy. I'll link it in the show notes. But she sent us these gorgeous stitch markers. You want to show yours? So they're out of, I believe, copper. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know.
I believe it's copper. If I'm wrong, Misty, correct me.
I think this one.
Yeah, that one's really pretty. I love this one. It's one of my favorites, the pink.
It has purple in it.
But then there's also some small ones that are little glass beads, and there's some spirally ones like that. It just slid off of the yarn. She just has it on a piece of yarn for us. So I am so excited to use these. They look amazing. She handcrafts all of these, and they are just gorgeous. So, Wired Heart Jewelry on Etsy, if you want to purchase some. So thank you so much, Misty. She sent these to the hub's mom's house so that we would get them before we left for the UK, so that we would have them. So thank you so much. You got something in the post, actually in the mail, before we left.
Yeah.
So tell them what this is.
This, I think, is the You're Just as Sane as I Am shirt by Megan Lara.
Laura, I think that's right.
Yes.
So who is this on the shirt?
Luna Lovegood.
Luna Lovegood. That's Damaris's favorite from Harry Potter.
Yes, and when I got it, I was just like, okay, let's see what all is on this. And I found everything that was on it.
So you got it from, does it say on the tag?
Tea Fury.
No, this wasn't Tea Fury, was it?
Yes, it was.
No, this one was not Tea Fury, baby.
Yes, it
This
was.
one, no, it was, no, it was not. It was,
It was.
because it was a different one. I had to register to get it.
Oh, then I told you the wrong size for the shirt.
No, but you said they were on the same size pattern as them.
I did?
Yeah, we looked up the size on Tea Fury and the size measurements on that site, and they were the
ZT,
same.
QWERTY.
No, it wasn't. Let me see if I can find it while we're talking. So you talk about what's on the shirt, and I'll look for it.
Well, it has her in the dress she wore to Bill and Fleur's wedding, and she has the spectre specs on her head, and she's holding a copy of the Quibbler and her wand, and she has her dirigible plum earrings and her butterbeer cork necklace. And down there at the bottom, that bit of blue is her Patronus, and that bit of black, that's kind of hard to see at the right, I think. It's right to me. Is a thestral. And down at the bottom,
You have the sleeve is like brushing my hair.
and down at the bottom are her shoes, and there's a Ravenclaw scarf. And up at the top with the circle right here, there are the letters that spell friends, and there were a dirigible plum of mistletoe, a moon, because her name is Luna, Ravenclaw eagle, yeah, Ravenclaw eagle, and lion hat she made for one of the Quidditch matches, and it definitely had a symbol. And that's it.
It was from the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Yetee. Yeti.
Yeti.
Yeah, that's like another name for
Yes.
the
The abominable snowman.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's from. It's the Yeti. It's not from Tea Fury.
Okay, I told you all the things.
So, do you like this shirt?
No.
Not at all. How many times have you worn it already?
Well, I wore it on the planes, both of them.
Yeah, because we were laid over in the airport, so.
And at the airport, I saw someone else with a Harry Potter shirt, but they didn't say anything to me.
Maybe they didn't know it was Luna. No. I don't know. I don't know. I knew it was Luna as soon as I saw it. So.
Yes, and Megan Lara also has a Hermione one that I think is called Brightest Witch of Her Age.
Yeah.
But I don't know if...
I love her stuff. It's so gorgeous. I want one of her Doctor Who shirts. I can't decide which one I want, though.
I want the Dawn Nova one, the Forget Me Not one.
Doesn't the one with Amy on it have the sunflowers?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I want.
I want the Forget Me Not one. I just want all of them.
I just want all of them, yeah.
Because she has the Bad Wolf, the Doctor's Doctor, and Forget Me Not, and Girl Who Waited, and I don't know if she has a Clara one yet.
Yeah, she does. She has a Souffle Girl one.
Oh, yes, she does. Well, that's just Oswin, but...
Yeah. So, I follow her on Facebook, do you? You should. Remind me to put that link in the show notes to her Facebook, because she talks about where her t-shirt's going to be, because, these are the like 24-hour only sales on some of these t-shirt sites. But I think she also has like maybe a Redbubble or something.
She does have a Redbubble, but things on Redbubble are expensive.
Yeah. So, but if you really wanted them, you could get some of her stuff on Redbubble or watch for the sales or whatever. So, yeah. So, next up, I got post this morning. It actually kind of scared me because I heard a noise and I was like, what was that? And it was them dropping mail in through our mail slot, because our mail slot is on our front door, and you lift it up and slide the mail in. How cool is that? So I got this beautiful card from Xena, who is Nitty Natter Xena from the Nitty Natter podcast. I just watched her new episode today. And back in, I believe, July, I won she does a monthly cal where you post just whatever you finish that month. It's called LOLs. And then she draws a random number generator thing, and you get I think it's either a pattern, I can't remember what price, or you can pick a set of her stitch markers. So I picked a set of her stitch markers, but I told her, I said, why don't you just hold on to them until I get to the UK, and then you can mail them, and that way it'll be cheaper for you, and I don't have to worry about whether they get to me before we leave or not or anything, because you know how the mail can be sometimes. So she said that would be fine, and so I picked these stitch markers, and they are one of her Christmas sets. I adore Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. And so when she had Christmas sets, I had to get them. So that's a set of bells, Christmas bells. That's a Christmas wreath. That's a snowflake. It's a pink snowflake. I didn't know it was pink. And I'm trying to get it turned around. Gloves, and a little candy cane. But then she surprised me. She had a set of stitch markers up in her shop at the same time, and I missed getting them. Somebody else beat me to it. And so I asked her later if she could make another set, that I would love to purchase them. And she said, of course. But then instead, she just sent them to me as a welcome to the UK gift. And you'll see why. There are two of them that are this, which is the flag and a heart.
Can I have one?
We'll have to see. There is one that is a crown like this. And then there's one that is a crown that's all sparkly. It's got gems in it. It's not showing up very well. The gems are reflecting the light. There's gems in that. And then this adorable double-decker bus. How fun is that? So thank you so much, Zena. You are so sweet, and I cannot wait to use these. You just made my morning when I got over the what in the world is that noise and found these in the post. You're so sweet. Thank you. Okay. Crafty Photo a Day Challenge is still ongoing. I'm so sorry that I missed a few days. I played catch up yesterday. We didn't have as reliable internet service as we needed, and the mobile phones thing, and so I finally played catch up yesterday and posted pictures. So thank you to those of you who kept going, even though I was not posting for a few days. We're going to continue in September. Damaris and I put together a September list today, and so we're going to pause the video right here and show you our favorites from this past week and put in the prompts image for September, and I'll be doing a post about that. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, the prompts post will be up on the blog. So here we go. So we had some amazing photos this past week, so thank you for participating. If you have not been participating, it's not too late. Just join in whenever. Most people post their pictures on Instagram, and then some people post them in our Ravelry group in the thread, and some people post them on Twitter and some on Facebook, and so there's lots of places to post them, so just take a picture, hashtag GGK Crafty Pad, wherever you post it so we can find it, and we would love to see your photos and hope you will enjoy joining in with us. I'm trying to convince Damaris to join in. So somebody nudge her and get her to join in. It's fun. All the cool kids are doing it. We'll see. I'm trying to convince her. We're still having mobile phone issues, kind of. So we're sharing a phone right now. So that's part of the problem. Anyway, okay. Scotland. So when we left them last Tuesday. We were in New Mexico. And we recorded and posted the video. And then, so Wednesday morning early, we left to drive from New Mexico back to Texas. That was such a long drive. We were in the car, from start to stop, we were in the car 12 hours, I believe. I mean, including stops. So we stopped in Fort Worth. And went where?
Chewy's.
Where'd we go before that? Books. Yeah. We went to Half Price Books. We had some more books to sell back, so we went and did that. And then we went to Chewy's. And so tell them what Chewy's is in case they don't know.
Chewy's is a Tex-Mex restaurant, and they have really good food and a really good sauce that you dip your crisps in.
Yes, tortilla crisps. We're trying to learn the lingo here in Scotland.
They don't say lingo.
Oh, what did they say? Not lingo. So yeah, they have this amazing dip called creamy jalapeno dip, and it is so good. You have to ask for it. They don't charge you for it, but you have to ask for it because when they bring your crisps to the table, tortilla crisps, I'm working on it, to the table, they typically just bring salsa, but you can ask them for the creamy jalapeno. And so I told the waitress that this was like our last hurrah because we were leaving, and of course there's no Chewies over here in Scotland. And so she said, "Oh, I'm going to bring you all some." And so she brought all three of us big old bowls of creamy jalapeno. It was so good. And then you had enchiladas, and the Hubs had a big as your face burrito, and it really is as big as your face. And I had fajita nachos.
And you gave me some.
And I did give you some, and they were good. And then we got back on the road and drove the rest of the way to the Hub's mom's house, where we stayed with her through Sunday. So we did a lot of visiting family while we were there. Saw, of course, the Hub's mom and one of his brothers. The other is overseas right now. And we saw his dad. We saw cousins and grandmother and aunt and another aunt, and I don't know. We saw a ton of family while we were there. Had some delicious food. His mom is an amazing cook, and so we had some really, really amazing food while we were there, and just kind of hung out and dealt with paperwork and closing accounts and all this kinds of stuff. Until Sunday morning.
Yes.
At about 2:45 in the morning, we got in the car, and the Hub's brother drove us to the DFW airport. And we got there probably right around a little before 5, I would think, because we made some stops along the way trying to get food. It only took 4 stops to get food. Wouldn't you serve breakfast in the morning? No, they were still serving dinner at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. Anyway, so we checked in on the flights, checked our luggage. Security at DFW was a nightmare. I expected there to be issues with either my knitting needles or my TENS unit. No, that's not where the problem was. And also, they were just really... I was in my wheelchair, and they were really rude about it. And not respectful of things. So that was really frustrating. But then we finally got through security and got to the gate. And waited around for a little bit till we could board the plane. We were the first ones on the plane, obviously, because I had my wheelchair. And we flew from DFW to New Jersey. It was about a 3.5-hour flight, probably, I think. Yeah, about 3.5-hour flight. And then the waiting began. Because, why?
We had an 8-hour layover.
Yeah. So what did we do to kill time in the airport?
We ate food.
We ate food.
And then we ate more food.
Yes.
And you watched podcasts.
I did. I watched a lot of podcasts. And you would think I would be caught up now because I watched so many. No, I'm still so far behind on podcasts. So we had Damaris and I had pizza for lunch. And then we had ice cream because we were killing time. So if you follow us on Instagram, and I also think I posted the pictures maybe on Ravelry, if not on my blog. I know I posted them yesterday on my blog, of Scotty Frog, who was our traveling companion, in various situations, eating food, knitting, sharing ice cream with the Hubs, all those fun things. So we waited and waited and waited, and then they changed our gate. We had been waiting at the right gate forever, waiting for it to be time to board, and they changed the gate, so we had to move all of our stuff to a different gate. I honestly think in that New Jersey airport that they don't use the gate printed on the ticket for any flight, because literally while we were there, we probably heard at least 24 flights that they changed the gates on. It was crazy. I'm like, seriously, this is really bizarre. Anyway, so we finally got on the plane a little after 7 p.m. and it was one of those cool planes that they have the screens in the back of everybody's seats, and you can watch free movies and TV. And so we did. We'll talk about what we watched in what we're watching and reading right now later in the show. But we watched some movies. They gave us dinner. What do we have for dinner?
Beef and rice and chicken with rice.
Yeah, and what else was with it?
Brownie.
A brownie and a salad and a roll.
But brownie's important.
Yeah, the brownie was the best part. You sometimes hear horror stories about airplane food, and this wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't the best meal I've ever had, but it wasn't horrible. And so then we finished watching what we were watching, and then we all tried to doze and sleep. I think we all got maybe a couple hours of sleep apiece, and that's about it. It was a 7-hour flight. So we dozed and then woke up, and then we all watched each of us were watching something different on the screens. And then they brought us a little breakfast, which was
some fruit and a croissant.
Croissant, yeah. And then we landed in Edinburgh about, about 7:45 a.m.? So there is a 6-hour time difference from where we are, or where we were in Texas to where we are now. So if you're Eastern time, it's a 5-hour time difference. If you're Mountain time, 7. If you are Pacific time, 8-hour time difference. So just to give you some, yeah. So we were like the very last ones off the plane because we had gate checked my wheelchair and had to wait for them to get it out. We had a hysterical guy who was employed by the airport that pushed my wheelchair because they had a security thing in the airport where it has to be an employee that punches in a code at the lift, at the elevators, at the lifts, to be able to use the elevators in that part of the airport. So it was a good thing. So he took us through a maze I would never have been able to find my way through like he did. And finally got us to immigration. And we got through immigration with no problems at all. They were very nice. They stamped our passports. Oh, I should have gotten them to show the stamps. Sorry about that. And then we went to pick up our luggage, and our friend Jeremy, who he's a friend of a friend, but he's a student also at the university, and so he met us at the airport. It was so wonderful to have somebody we knew, even though we had only met online, to be able to kind of help us. So we loaded up all of our luggage, 12 bags total. We had checked 6 bags, and we had carried on 6 bags because we each had 2. So we loaded all that up onto trolleys and went to the taxi desk because we had reserved a taxi because all of our stuff was not going to fit in Jeremy's car. There's just no way. So Damaris and I went in the taxi with all of our stuff, and the Hubs went with Jeremy. They went to the university to get the keys to our flat, and Damaris and I came straight to the flat. What did you think about our taxi driver? What did I call him the other day when I was talking about him, and you laughed at me because I called him a funny name?
I don't know. His name was William.
He talked a lot, more than I talk. The whole ride, it was so funny. He was telling us about the festival here in Edinburgh that was going on right now for August, and he was telling us about the history of the city. He's lived here for 30 years, and he was telling us about all the housing and how there's not enough housing, and people, so places that are for sale very quickly because there's constantly a need, and oh my gosh, it was hysterical. And Damaris and I were just kind of, because we were so exhausted because we had been up by this point for more than 24 hours, and we were just exhausted. So we got here to the flat, and Jeremy and the Hubs weren't back yet. So Damaris helped the taxi driver unload, and one of our neighbors opened, because the building where our flat is in, there's an outside door, and then you come inside, and that's where the staircase and all the flats front doors are. So there's 6 flats in our building, 2 on each floor. We're on the bottom, the ground floor. But the front door locks because it's a security thing. So one of our neighbors opened it and let us come in, and that way we could put all our luggage in the hallway in front of our flat door instead of having to leave it all outside. And so then we just sat and waited for Jeremy and the Hubs to get here. They were probably about another 15 minutes after we got here, so it wasn't too bad. And then, do you want to tell them about what happened with the door?
We couldn't get in here.
Into this room, the sitting room.
Because the handle was non-functional.
And that was an additional problem because
our phone was in here.
Yeah, the phone in the flat was in this room, so we couldn't call to say, the door is broken. So Jeremy called and was like, they can't get into their sitting room at all. Can you send somebody? And so finally, it took a few hours, but they finally sent somebody to get in here. And he had to, like, break the door jamb to get in because it was so messed up. But he replaced the handle and everything and fixed everything, so it was very nice. So what do you think of our flat?
I like it.
So you want to tell them about what it is like? How many rooms, all that kind of fun stuff?
How many rooms does it have?
It has how many bedrooms?
2.
2 bedrooms.
A kitchen,
A
sitting room.
Yeah, a kitchen, a sitting room, and the bathroom. So what's your room like?
Good.
Tell them about it. Describe it. Use your words.
There's not much to tell.
Is there a bed?
There are 2 beds, and they're very creaky.
It's a bunk bed.
I can't roll over without making it go creak.
Hopefully you'll get used to it. And then you have what else in your room?
A desk.
Uh-huh.
And a dresser, and a closet, and places to put things on the walls.
Yes. And then our bedroom is got a bed and dresser and nightstands and a closet. And then in here in the sitting room has what?
A desk.
A bigger desk. That's what the Hubs is using.
And a cabinet, and a coffee table, and 2 sofas.
And a bookshelf.
And windows.
And a bookshelf.
And windows.
And windows. And we tried to record sitting in front of the windows, but the sunlight coming in made like this huge white glow behind my head. So we didn't do that. So we are turned facing the windows right now. And let us know how the video is of this, because we don't know if we'll keep recording from this same spot or if we'll try a different spot in the flat or what. This worked best for today, but we are open to changing it if it's not good video for y'all. So we moved one of the couches to face the window and moved things around. We've got things like moved around in here to record today. And then there's a bathroom, of course, with shower and tub and all that jazz. And then there is a closet, a cupboard is what it's called on the inventory, in the hallway with stuff in it. And then, the kitchen. So it's got a dining table and 4 chairs and a pretty good sized refrigerator. I mean, it's not as big as an American refrigerator, but it is quite large. In fact, Jeremy, when he came into the flat, he was like, I think that's the biggest refrigerator I've seen here in Edinburgh. So that made us feel good, that we have a decent sized fridge. We have microwave and tea kettle. It was on the counter. Stove and oven. And then what is our unusual item in the kitchen that we just used this morning?
the washer dryer.
Yeah, which is all one unit
And doesn't really dry.
and doesn't really dry.
So we can't have toasty warm clothes in the winter.
No. So, yeah, it's all one machine. And it really doesn't dry. It just kind of makes them damp. I mean, they're like not wringing wet, but just damp. So we have a drying rack, which was actually sitting right behind us before we started recording, but we moved it so you wouldn't have to see all of our laundry. And I've ordered another drying rack because this one is not very big, and we need a bigger one to be able to dry our laundry. So, yeah, we were all quite fascinated with the washer dryer and figuring out how it worked, and we're still learning. We're still learning lots of things. And I guess that's about it. We have lots of natural light. There's lots of windows, which is wonderful. So we've been opening the windows every morning, the curtains and everything. The weather has been glorious since we've been here. Today was the first day it rained, and it was just a short rain shower this morning. My hand knit socks have been getting lots of wearing. And I was able to wear my sweater yesterday, and of course I've got a shawl on today. So we had some minor kerfuffles after we arrived. It was a bank holiday, and someone forgot to exchange the U.S. money at the airport. So we were like, and then our debit card from our U.S. bank got frozen because they thought it was fraud being used over here, even though I had contacted them ahead of time and told them it was being used over here. So we had I had a breakdown and was like, oh my gosh, we have no money. What are we going to do? Da, da, da. Finally got it all worked out. We went and opened bank accounts here in Scotland. We were able to exchange all of our money and everything. So Tuesday, we went, of course, to go open those bank accounts down near where the main part of the university is. There's a branch of one of the banks there that understands the issues with international students. And so we opened an account there. And then we went to the shopping center that is much closer to our flat than we realized. And we're able to exchange money there. And there's a grocery store there. We went in and got a few things. We had a grocery delivery order Monday night, but we added a few more things on Tuesday. We got one mobile phone. We did not think about the fact that we don't have a credit history here in the UK, so it's very difficult to get a contract phone without credit history, and especially because we are still waiting for debit cards to come in from the new bank. So we bought just one of those pay-as-you-go phones, and we can just top it up with minutes and texts and internet, because we wanted the public transit system here, the bus especially, has an app where you can figure out what bus routes to take and such. And we also wanted to have the GPS on the phone so that when we get lost, which we did on Tuesday, we went the wrong direction and had to get off and come all the way back and then go the right direction. So we wanted that to be able to help us. So we did all that Tuesday. And then yesterday, we went where?
Sainsbury's.
Oh yeah, back to the shopping center, which is really, really much closer than we thought, because there's a little shortcut that we found. So that was cool. So we went back and got some things that were not grocery related that we needed. And went to the pound store, which is like the US dollar store, but it's obviously in pounds because that's the money here. So that was funny. It cracked us up, and got a few things. And we decided to go ahead and get a second mobile phone, but we just got one of the basic cheapy ones, so that Damaris and I would have a phone here, and the Hubs would have a phone when he's going back and forth to the university, until we figure out if we can get onto a contract system. And then we came home, met another of our neighbors because she had accepted a package for us we had delivered. of our wireless router so that we could get online with y'all, because we could only connect the hub's computer to the internet, because Damaris and I have Chromebooks and you can't plug in an Ethernet cord. You have to connect on Wi-Fi. So that was a problem. So that was why we were so much not online right after we got here, because we only had one computer that could connect, and two, we were exhausted and trying to figure out things and unpack things and adjust to the new time zone and everything. And then today we just stayed home. We stayed home today and recording, and I'm looking forward to doing some knitting tonight and things like that. We've been able to video chat with our families back in the U.S., and we're settling in good here, I think. I think we're all finally adjusting to the time difference. It may take another day or two to completely adjust, but it's getting better. Our flat is lovely. The people here in Scotland are so lovely. Everyone is so friendly and so kind and so helpful, helping us figure out the buses and how to go. And the neighbors we've met have been so friendly. Of course, Jeremy and his family have just gone out of their way to help us get settled in. The scenery, the nature is so beautiful. There's so many trees. We looked out the sitting room window right after we got here, and there was one pink rose on a rose bush, and that was just like a beautiful thing right in the middle of when all the banking chaos was going on. What do you think? What do you want to talk about it?
I don't know.
I covered a lot. You haven't started school yet.
No.
Maybe next week. We're homeschooling still, so we're just trying to get all settled in and adjusted before we start. The Hubs doesn't start school until, is it the 9th?
I'm not sure.
I think it's the 9th. He starts university, and that's really orientation stuff that first week. So we have a few more days to get settled in before all that starts. So I posted some pictures on my blog and on Instagram yesterday of some of what's around us, but not a whole lot. So hopefully in the next few days we'll take some more pictures and share those with y'all. But we're loving it here. We love it, love it, love it. The weather is obviously amazing, and that is so helpful. And I could tell a difference just in not having to deal with the super hot weather and everything that we were in before. So that's a lot. We've talked for a long time. I've talked for a long time. So sorry. You're going to talk more in the next segment. So I guess we're ready to move on to the next segment. Oh, I was going to say, if you have questions about where we're living, or if there's things you want to see or you want us to show you, just put them in the Ravelry thread or send us a message or whatever, because we are more than happy to share about where we're living, or if you want to see photos of the crazy things like the combination washer dryer or something like that or whatever. Just let us know, because we'll take pictures. We are more than happy to share. So, okay, now on to the next segment.
Now we're going to talk about what books we're reading and what TV we're watching.
So what are we reading?
We are both reading Wizard of Oz books by L. Frank Baum. She's reading The Road to Oz, and I'm reading The Emerald City of Oz.
Yeah, I think I'm almost done with The Road to Oz. I'm getting close, so. And that's about all we're reading. Yep. So, what have we watched this week?
Well, on the plane, we watched Iron Man 3.
So, what did you think of it?
Yeah.
I know what your favorite part was. At the end, right after the credits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you don't want to be spoiled, if you have not seen it yet and don't want to be spoiled about what's after the credits, fast forward a little bit. Okay, go ahead. Tell them what it was.
Okay, so it's Tony pretty much, having Bruce as his therapist, and Bruce was actively napping. Tori's like, where did I lose you? Elevator in Switzerland, which is like the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
And Bruce is your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they don't know who Bruce is, why don't you tell them who
Bruce Banner.
Who is also...
The Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
So what'd you think of the movie?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good
Pepper.
one. Oh, don't...
And happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally gasped. Damaris was about 30 seconds behind my screen, and the Hubs was probably about 2 minutes behind my screen. And so, I see this intense part happen, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, because she was sitting next to me, and she's like, no, don't tell me, because she hadn't seen it yet. It was so funny.
Happy likes Downton Abbey.
Yes, Happy does like Downton Abbey. That was so funny. Especially the end part in the hospital when he woke back up. And then what else did you watch on the plane?
I watched part of Skyfall.
Yeah, James Bond.
Yes, which I've already seen.
Yeah, you'd already seen it.
But Q.
Mm. And I watched Jack the Giant Slayer.
Which had Warwick Davis in it.
Yes, it did.
You were like...
I know, I was like, look. Because she was watching her other thing with the headphones on. So it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't one that I would have paid to go to the movie theater or anything, but it was pretty good. Fairy tale story. And then I watched some Big Bang Theory. I think that's what the Hubs was watching too, the Big Bang Theory. Okay, and then, so now we're here in Edinburgh. We don't have a television at this point. Hopefully we'll have one in the next month or so. That you have to pay for a TV license and everything, and our flat was not furnished with a TV, so we'll have to get one. But there's the amazing what? iPlayer! And you can watch things on the computer. So, what did we watch? What day was that? Was that Monday or Tuesday? No, that was Tuesday.
Tuesday. We watched the Doctor Who proms.
Yes. It had been on here in the UK on Monday late afternoon, but we were out of it. We didn't watch it when it first came available. So what did you think?
I liked it. Yes.
What was your favorite part?
Do I have to pick one?
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, I'm making you. What was your favorite part? Come on. Pick one.
I don't know. Kind of like the name of the Doctor with Mrs. Gallifrey and yeah.
The funniest part for me was overacting.
And Ben Foster, actor of the year. And I was a dog saying that.
Ben Foster is the conductor of,
and so he's just doing all these dramatic movements, conducting the orchestra.
But then he was also doing the thing with the Dalek because the Doctor had given him a
sonic conductor,
a sonic baton.
Sonic baton.
And so he's fighting the Dalek with the baton.
Oh, and what was also fun when the Ice Warrior got close to some of the people who were cosplaying as the Doctor, they were pointing their sonic screwdrivers
So that was so fun. It was amazing. We really enjoyed that. And then is there something else you want to talk about?
Well, I was just gonna say, what was on iPlayer just highlights of it? Because I thought I saw somewhere that they played the companions' themes, but only Clara's theme was in the thing on iPlayer.
Yeah, because it was only 75 minutes on iPlayer, but
and I think it went on for a lot longer than.
So they didn't put everything in. But it was so good. We really enjoyed it. And we'd already seen the clip about your hair. But it was funny to see it all in context. And the scratching the ticket. Okay, and then what did we watch yesterday?
We watched Who Do You Think You Are? The episode about Unistubs.
Okay, so Who Do You Think You Are? I think we had it in the U.S., but not for as much, I guess, as they've had it here in the U.K. They take a famous person, whether it's an actor or an actress, or or some, they've got other ones as well, and with them trace their family history and learn about their family and genealogy and such. So we watched series 10, episode 1, who was Una Stubbs, who is
she plays Mrs. Hudson on BBC's Sherlock.
Yes. And she was precious. She was so adorable. So adorable. And I thought it was so cool, all the connections of what she knew about her family. Like, there was these connections with things she didn't know about her family. And the commercial she was in from the chocolate factory. And, it was adorable. And it turned out that one of her relatives worked at the chocolate factory. And she didn't know it. And so it was really interesting. So I think we may watch some more of those, because it was pretty interesting to watch that. I think that's all we've watched. I didn't get to see Continuum before we left. And I have not even tried to see the other things that I had been watching before we left the States, to see if they're available here or not. So that's all that we're watching right now. All right, are we ready to go to the next segment? Okay, here we go.
Now we're going to talk about our August Podiversary Cal.
Mm-hmm.
So, you only have a few days left to enter. Last day to enter is Saturday, the 31st.
Mm-hmm. We'll close the thread Sunday morning when we get up.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they enter? Because there's plenty of time still to enter, because it's different than our normal Cals.
Yeah. There's one entry per person.
Yes.
And you can enter any project completed between August 29th, 2012.
12. Mm-hmm.
And you must connect it with one of our podcast episode titles.
Yes. Now you can get a bonus entry into the drawing by having completed the entire project this month, August 1st to August 31st, 2013. But any project you finished from a year ago today till now can be entered. So if you didn't know about it and you're like, oh, I want to enter, you can enter an old project. You just won't get the bonus entry for the drawing. And what are we going to do for prizes?
UK themed prizes.
And we're giving away 2. So the first one is what?
First one, F.
A random number generator?
Yes, will be picked from a random number generator. I thought you were telling me that's the prize.
No, random number generator. And the second prize will be?
The one that we like.
The best. You're like the best connection of a project with a title of the episode. And there's been some really good ones. So we will announce the winners next week on next week's podcast. Now we have 27 entries into the Cal right now. So we had some new ones entered this week. We're getting to the point where we have so many entries in our Cals that I don't know if we're going to be able to keep individually mentioning people by name and discussing the projects. I mean, we don't discuss them a whole lot, but we may have to just do that on the Ravelry boards, and just kind of say, oh, we had this many entries this week. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so do you want to start with the first one, and we'll just go back and forth?
Yeah, Tanya Levine, who is Tanya. She made a Nordica.
It's a sweater.
And connected it to episode 47, which we count down to Scotland, and they're doing their countdown to Virginia, and she wanted to finish that before she left. And she said almost anything that she finishes in the next month is in the same category.
Yeah. So she's moving from Canada to Virginia. So next up was Mitchmash89, who's Michelle. She did a polka dot baby blanket, and she connected it to episode 25, in which there's magic and something big is coming. She crocheted the baby blanket for her cousin who was expecting her first baby. She gave birth to a healthy baby boy on August the 7th after celebrating her 21st birthday on August the 6th. And it's beautiful. Great job. Okay, next up.
Princess Bumps, who is Victoria,
She did this right here.
She did her drizzle hat.
Yes.
and connect it to episode 51, in which it's making sparkles on the screen.
Because that's the episode I had finished my drizzle hat.
Yep.
And she completed it all in August. Mm-hmm. Okay, Phoenix Fire, who is Tracy. Oh my gosh, this is so adorable. She did a Zeke the Aloof alpaca. It's so funny. She's connecting him to episode 17, in which the alpaca lips and Christmas are coming. And she connected it mainly because he's an alpaca, but also because he's honing his mind control skills and may someday be the downfall of mankind. And make sure when you look at the pictures of Zeke that you check out his warning label. It's a pin with an alpaca on it that says, "I can kill you with my brain."
I sense the Firefly reference.
Yes. It's so funny. Great job. Okay, next up.
Wisconsin knitter, who is Eileen.
Yes.
Made the Bay of Fundy scarf, and
She did it all in August.
yes, and connected it to episode 22, in which we just keep knitting because she wanted to finish this month.
It was her last Camp Loopy project.
So she told herself to just keep knitting until you get it done, and it could also be connected to episode 49, in which craziness ensues because she felt like she was going crazy knitting it, even though it took her less than a month because it was
That was the only thing she was knitting on, and it seemed to take forever. Yeah. Okay, then we have Knits Insanity, who is Katie. She did her Rescue Me Chin Boy and Show Me the Star Socks, which is my pattern that I designed. She connected it with episode 18, in which we talked socks, fringe, Christmas gifts, snowmen, and Clara, and she did it connected it to that one because the socks are named for a quote by one of Clara's incarnations, Oswin Oswald, in the Asylum of the Daleks. And I love the yarn she used. It was gorgeous. All right, and then the last one?
Desi72, who's Dixie, finished Moonlight Speaks Softly Socks and connected it with episode 18, which we talk socks, fringe, Christmas gifts, snowmen, and Clara. It's a pair of socks that she considered making as a Christmas gift and then fell in love with the pattern.
So when her mom comes to visit, she's going to have to raid the sock drawer for her favorite pair and take them because she's keeping the other ones for herself. So great job, everybody. We're really proud of you and can't wait to see the final entries that come in, and we will announce the winners next week.
We have a new cowl.
What is it going to be?
It's going to be the September, October, November giftable cowl.
I was like, should it be the gifty cow or the giftable cow? We decided on giftable cow. So this is going to run from September the 1st through November the 30th. So for 3 months. To enter a project into the cowl, it can be any project that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that is a gift for someone else. So whether you're doing holiday gifts, Christmas, Hanukkah, things like that, if you're doing a birthday gift, if you're doing a gift for a new baby, if you're doing a wedding gift, an anniversary gift, anything that you are making to gift to someone else for some specific reason. Like I will be doing a baby blanket for my new nephew who is going to be born in January, but I want to try to send it off by around the beginning of December. That's my goal. I haven't even bought the yarn yet. So that's one of the things that I'll be doing for the cowl is a new baby blanket for my new nephew. Because this is running for 3 months, we are not going to allow works in progress but begun before it to be put in the cowl. So your project cannot have been begun before September the 1st. And it has to be done by November the 30th. You can double dip in other cowls. I know there's lots of amazing cowls going to be going on. I know there's a sock cowl going on that Wolf Farms is doing. I think Sunday Z920 is doing a Christmas cowl. I think somebody else is doing like winter items cowl. I can't remember. I've watched so many podcasts this last week. that it's all running together. There's some sweater cowls going on. So anything that you are knitting as a gift for someone else, or knitting, crocheting, spinning, or weaving as a gift for someone else can be entered. Each project you finish and post counts as one entry into the giveaway. There's no limit on how many entries you can have as long as you follow the rules. So if you knit 37 pairs of seamless Salomas slippers for your nieces and nephews, you can enter all 37 pairs. Just put one project per post. So you would have 37 posts. If you're knitting 37 pairs of slippers, more power to you. I'm addicted, but I've only done 5. You have to post a finished photo of each project in the thread, and you have to be a member of the Ravelry group. If you are not on Ravelry, contact me and we'll work something out. But if you are on Ravelry, you must be a member of the group. The thread will be locked the morning of December 1st, and winner drawn on the next podcast. You have 30 days to claim your prize from the day that the podcast goes live, or you will forfeit it. We're not going to chase you down. This is for people who are actively involved in our podcast community. We're not going to chase you down. Okay. And there's a chatter thread. I haven't set it up yet. I'll probably set it up after we finish recording. So there's going to be a chatter thread so we can talk about it. So that is going to be our September, October, November cowl. Not sure what prizes we're going to have yet. We'll think about it. They'll be good ones. So, all right. On to the last segment. I thought you were starting.
I thought you were starting.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm starting. We're to the end of our show.
Yes.
Yes. So what do you want to tell them?
We still have buttons.
The Geeky Girls Knit buttons. We forgot to bring one over here. I know there were some people in the UK that wanted them, so contact us. Just cover the cost of shipping. That's all we're asking for. And we'll mail one out to you. Sorry we don't have one over here to show you. It looks just like our logo. And hopefully we'll be back on normal recording schedule next week. That's the plan, to record next Wednesday. I can't think of any other announcements, can you?
Nope.
So tell them where to find us online.
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.blogspot.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online. Blip, iTunes, YouTube, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yep. And I know the show went really long today, so sorry about that. We had a lot to talk about with Scotland. So we will see you next week. Happy knitting and much love to everyone. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement and everything as we were traveling and getting settled in, having those comments and Ravelry messages and posts on the thread and Facebook messages and Instagram and Twitter. It helped so much as we were traveling and everything. So we love y'all muchly and appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Happy knitting. Bye.